Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Pride 48 technical tutorial. My name is Adam, and today we're going to go over how to route audio between applications on your Windows computer. So in the last video, we talked about streaming software that we used, and basically that streaming software will allow you to pick one audio input that it will broadcast to Pride 48. A lot of you don't have hardware mixers. And so what that means is if you have other audio like Skype, or you want to play sound effects, or you want to do anything else, normally you'll edit those into your podcast after the fact, or you have various ways that you can deal with that, but you don't have a way in a live scenario to get both your mic and the audio from a browser or from an audio application or iTunes or Skype if you have a Skype guest. So today we're going to talk about how to do that. Also, if you do bring in a Skype guest, you don't have the ability for them to hear both you and the music that you're playing or the sound effects that you're playing. So there is, and we're going to specifically focus on Windows for this video, but I will do a second video for Mac. That was a very abrupt ending for that song. I thought it was going to fade out gradually. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and get started. And first of all, I'm going to tell you there is an application that you need to use. So it's another application that you will have to download. This functionality is not built into Windows. So I'm just going to do a search for Rogue Amoeba. And I'm sorry, that's Mac. Blah, I'll edit that out. Or maybe I won't. Let's go back. I'm going to do a search for VoiceMeeter. I'm getting confused. VoiceMeeter Banana. It's voice, M-E-E-T-E-R, banana. And that is the application that you're going to need. So it's vb-audio.com. And then there's a specific page for VoiceMeeter Banana. You'll see these tabs. There are lots of different applications that are offered by this company, but you want Banana specifically. I don't know why they named it Banana. They could have gone with orange or grapefruit or who knows. Anyway, this is what you'll need. You'll scroll down to the bottom where you see VoiceMeeter Banana Advanced Mixer, and you have a zip package option or an exe file. Either one of those will work fine. I'm not going to go through the install process because it's literally just a regular Windows installation. There are no additional steps, and there is an installer that walks you through everything that you need to do. So now I will say it will need to reboot your computer before the install is complete because it does make some changes to your audio configurations. So keep that in mind. But so if you have anything you're working on that needs to be saved, then you'll want to go ahead and save that and get ready to do a reboot of your computer. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reveal my desktop. I've already got some things set up here. You'll see that I've got Skype over there on the right-hand side with my audio and video settings going. And I have Butt, which is the software we've recommended that's a free solution to stream to Pride 48. And then I have Audacity, which is my recording application of choice. And I have YouTube up just to show you guys something playing audio. And I will say, you might see my hand in Skype. I do have the Skype camera. The camera is on by default. And I'm not over there. I'm not in frame because it's a long explanation. But the screen that I'm actually doing the demo on is not the camera. So the camera is over there and I'm not over there. But you may see my hand waving occasionally because I wave my hand when I talk. All right, so let's go ahead and open VoiceMeeter. So after you install VoiceMeeter, the first thing you're going to do, actually, I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So your browser does not allow you to pick an output for audio. So any audio that plays from your browser, like from Skype, or not Skype, from YouTube, or if you go to Spotify, or if you go to any other website, generally there's no way to say, hey, I want this audio to play out of my headphone jack, or I want this audio to play, out of my speakers, or if you have any other devices connected that you can use to output audio to. Usually you cannot tell that. You also can't say, hey, I want you to play this audio directly to Skype so that my Skype guests can hear it. Or, hey, I want you to play this audio directly to Audacity so Audacity can hear it. So that's the first thing we're going to take care of. VoiceMeeter adds what are called virtual inputs and outputs. So I'm going to right-click on the little speaker down at the bottom right hand, and I'm just going to open Sounds. There are many different ways to get to this menu. I like the old-fashioned one. Windows 10 does have a newer settings menu, and I like the old-style one, so I'm going to go here. You can go to the Windows 10 settings for sound, or you can go to this old style that you get by right-clicking down in your taskbar. I'm going to go to Playback, and this is going to control where system audio is played back. So anything that you don't specifically tell where you want it to send the audio. So the browser is a perfect example of this because, like I said, you can't tell the browser where to send audio. It's going to use whatever the default is on your computer. So I'm going to just, for playback, because this is output, you see right now laptop speakers are selected, but you'll see down here at the bottom, I have two output options. One is VoiceMeeter input, and one is VoiceMeeter aux input. So what this is doing is you're actually routing audio from the output of any of your system sounds or browser or anything that would normally be going to your speaker. You're actually routing that to VoiceMeeter's input. And I'm just going to choose VoiceMeeter input. And when I open VoiceMeeter, I'll show you how to tell the difference between the two. But you have VoiceMeeter input and VoiceMeeter aux input. So I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to say set as default device. I'm also going to go ahead and say set as default communication device. And click OK. So what that means is now everything playing system sounds, anything that you cannot select the output for specifically, is going to default to VoiceMeeter input. You won't hear it. So now if I play YouTube or something like that, it will not come out of my speakers. I won't hear anything. That's okay. We're going to fix that. So now I'm going to open up VoiceMeeter. And there's a VoiceMeeter and there's VoiceMeeter Banana. You need Banana to do the advanced things that I'm doing. And I just happen to have both installed on my computer. So, all right. So now it's open and it looks kind of complicated and scary. It may take you a bit to learn all the settings and everything, but it's not. Once you learn it, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this bit by bit. So first over here on the far left, and you'll see I have a couple of things labeled already. You can right click on the little gray tags and you can label things whatever you want. So I can rename that. I just have labeled things in the past so I know what everything is. All right, so there's the label. So this is my microphone input. I've already selected it, but the way you select is the white text underneath the title. You'll click on that and it brings up a drop-down menu. And you'll have all of your normal inputs. Now, I know that my microphone is this USB audio codec, and that's already selected. And so that is working just fine. Now, if I pick something else, you'll see that these little graphic equalizer bars stop moving when I talk. If I go back up here and I select my mic, and I prefer MME actually, so if I prefer my mic, if I select my mic, you'll see that that graphic equalizer starts moving again. All right, so that is, and I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all of these boxes just so I can walk through them one by one. So now you see that my mic is coming into VoiceMeeter. So that's good. That's the first thing you want to do is get your microphone going into the VoiceMeeter application. VoiceMeeter is a mixer, but it's a mixer on the computer. So if you don't have a hardware mixer, you can use VoiceMeeter as a software mixer. All right, so now that's set up. I don't have any other hardware inputs, so I'm going to leave those alone. But if you had other inputs, if you had multiple USB mics, for instance, all hooked up to your computer, you could actually select those here. If you had any other inputs coming in, you know, depending on how many audio inputs your computer has, or again, if it's a USB device, you could have multiple. I'm not going to deal with that because I only have my microphone. All right, so now let's talk about the output. Remember, I wanted to make sure anything that's playing on my computer is being output to the VoiceMeeter mixer. And that way I have control to route that to various applications. All right, so these inputs, you have 5 inputs, 3 hardware and 2 virtual. So this one that says computer and this one that says Skype, again, those are labels that I've created. And so you could call these whatever. I don't remember what it says by default. So you'll just have to, when you download it, I already had configs on my computer, so, but it'll look something similar to this, but these labels will say something different. So underneath here, you see it says VoiceMeeter and VoiceMeeter aux. That directly corresponds to those playback settings that I was showing you in the sound settings. So if I open the sound settings and I pull up playback, you'll see that I have VoiceMeeter input and VoiceMeeter aux input. Remember, these 5 are all inputs. So VoiceMeeter input is this first one and VoiceMeeter aux input is this second one. So I'll click OK, and I've already set this as my VoiceMeeter input, so this first one as my default. So anything playing through the default computer device is going to go into this. So I'm going to go ahead and for those of you who listen to my podcast, you know I've been really getting into photography lately. So my YouTube is just straight up photography. But I'm going to play one of these and you're going to not hear, I don't like that one. Let's go back and pick a different one. Let's see. Why am I being so picky? I don't care. I prefer this Nigel guy here. All right, so now this is playing, but we're not going to be hearing it because it's not coming out of my speakers and I don't have that routed to the recording that I'm making. So you're going to have to trust me that there is audio, but I'm going to show you visually that there is audio. So first of all, if I open up the sound settings, you'll see that when this YouTube video is playing, in the playback here, you'll see it's tiny. I mean, it's not very loud, but you'll see that it's actually coming in right here on this VoiceMeeter input. If I pause this, then this graphic equalizer here stops moving. If I play it, you see that it starts moving again. So you can see that YouTube is going into that input. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm going to show you in VoiceMeeter the same thing. So in VoiceMeeter, you see here, and I'll stop talking so you can see it, but you see that the graphic equalizer on this first channel, this first input channel, virtual input channel, is moving when the YouTube video is playing. If I stop it, you'll see that that slowly drizzles down and now there's nothing. If I start it, you'll see that it's playing here. So the second thing that I want to do is I need to bring in Skype. So I'm bringing all of my computer audio and I also need to bring Skype into VoiceMeeter. So I want anything playing on the computer and anything coming that I can hear through Skype, which would be my guests. I want those also coming into the mixer. So I go to Skype and I'm going to, for the speakers, I have this set to default communications device. That is not what you want. You don't want it to go to the default because I need Skype to go into this second aux channel. And I'll explain the reason for that in a second, but for now, just trust me, I need that to go into the second one. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to choose VoiceMeeter aux input. So now that's going into VoiceMeeter aux, which is the second virtual input. So I'm going to play the test audio just to show you that you'll be able to see that in this equalizer right here. All right, so now the test audio is playing, and you'll see that this equalizer is moving. If I turn the volume up, you'll see that the volume will, actually, this is the volume that's controlling that. So forget that I said that. But anyway, you see that it's moving up and down in this equalizer. If I stop the test audio, that will slowly drizzle down, and you'll see there's nothing now there. So if you had a guest on Skype, this is where they would be coming in. Great, so now we've got all of our inputs set. So now what we want to do is we want everything that's coming into the VoiceMeeter mixer, we want that to be going to our recording software, and we also want that to be going to the streaming software. Thirdly, you'll want to hear everything that's coming through your computer, and you'll want to be able to, maybe you want it to go to speakers or your headphones. You probably don't want it to go to speakers because you don't want to have echo in your audio. So let's do that now. So in order to control that, we're going to actually deal with these outputs on VoiceMeeter. So we set all the inputs. So remember, I have my microphone, I have computer audio, and I have Skype. Now what I want to do, so all of those are coming into VoiceMeeter and it's capturing all of those. So now what I want to do is choose where those are going to be output to. Just like the inputs here, you have two virtual outputs, B1 and B2. These don't have labels, unfortunately, so I can't label them, but B1 and B2 are the virtual. Now, just like VoiceMeeter input and VoiceMeeter aux input, these are called VoiceMeeter input or output for B1 and VoiceMeeter aux output for B2. All right, so first of all, I want to record everything. So I want to record myself, I want to record YouTube, I want to record Skype in Audacity. So I'm going to take care of that, and I'm going to route all of that to B1, which is VoiceMeeter output. And the way I'm going to do that is each one of these channels has these buttons on the side. And I want myself, I want the computer audio, which is YouTube, and I also want Skype to go to B1, which is VoiceMeeter output. So I'm going to click B1, and now you'll see when I talk, you can see I'm coming into B1. On computer audio, I'm also going to send that to B1. And you can see that the equalizer is moving along with this equalizer. So you see the computer is going to B1. And now I want Skype to go to B1 as well. So I'm going to click B1 on Skype. Now, just to show you that, I'm going to actually mute the computer audio, and you'll still see the equalizer moving because the Skype audio is playing. If I mute Skype, then you'll see nothing other than me is coming in. And then if I mute myself, you'll see that nothing now is going to B1. So I'm going to unmute, and now everything is going into B1. That's great, because now I have, and keep in mind, if you have another application like a music player, like iTunes or something like that, you can go into iTunes or your whatever music player that you're using, or if you have a soundboard application or anything like that, and you can actually say, hey, I want you to output your audio to, you'll have an option of either VoiceMeeter input or VoiceMeeter output. And you actually want to make sure for any of those computer things that you want your Skype guests to be able to hear, you want to make sure you're always choosing VoiceMeeter input and really only keeping Skype on VoiceMeeter aux input. Again, I'll explain that a little bit more in just a second, but you want everything you want your Skype guests to hear on this first virtual input. All right, so let's just test this out and make sure it's working. So I'm going to go into my settings for Audacity, and I'm going to set the input device. Now I've made this super small, so I've shrunk it down too far. So let me just expand it. All right, so the microphone for Audacity is where you set the input. I'm going to select VoiceMeeter output. And that's B1. Remember, output is B1, aux output is B2. So I'm going to select VoiceMeeter output. So that means that's going to record everything that's coming in to B1. All right. So I'm just going to minimize this a little bit and click record. So now what you're going to see is it's recording. So I'm going to just go in and I'm going to mute some things. So first of all, I'm going to mute the computer. And now I'm going to mute Skype. So you'll see it's not recording anything other than me now. And now I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to keep talking, but you're going to see it's not recording me because I'm not going to B1 because I'm muted. If I unmute myself, then you'll see I'm recorded again. Now, you don't really normally want to use the mute because that will mute you. That will mute your channel for all outputs. What you probably want to do is control mute a particular output, and you can do that by unchecking the box. So if I don't want to go to B1 anymore, if I click it again, I'll keep talking, but see I'm no longer being recorded by Audacity. If I want to record myself again, click B1 again, and there I go. I'm recorded by Audacity. So that's all you have to do for that. So now Audacity is getting everything. It's getting Skype, it's getting the YouTube video, and it's getting my microphone. So the last thing that you're going to want to do is you want your Skype guests to be able to hear everything on your computer plus your microphone, but you don't want them to hear themselves. So you don't want them to hear echo back to themselves. So the way and that's the reason we have Skype coming into a separate channel here. The way you're going to do that is very simple. First of all, you're going to go into Skype and you're going to go to microphone. And I've already done this, but you're going to pick VoiceMeeter aux output for your microphone. And we're going to look at the microphone here to see that move as I change things. So this is getting a little busy, so I'm going to stop this recording. And I'm going to pause this video just because it's getting a little frantic. Oh, I clicked somewhere I shouldn't have. All right, so I'm just going to pull this up. So now what I want to do is I want to deal with this B2. So B2, I want to go ahead and send the audio from my microphone to B2. So I click B2. And there you see that I'm actually now routing my microphone to B2. And sorry, Mark just got home, but hopefully he'll hear that I'm recording. So I'm routing my mic to B2 and you can see that I'm coming in. So if I uncheck B2, you'll see Skype is no longer hearing me, but we want Skype to hear me. So I'm going to check B2 again. And there you go. Skype is hearing me. Everything is great. So now I want to make sure that Skype can hear YouTube or all of my computer audio. So I'm just going to go ahead and take myself off of B2 so you can see what's going on here. And I'm going to play YouTube and you'll see that Skype is not hearing YouTube. So the way I want to do that is I want to go to computer, which is VoiceMeeter VIO, and I want to send that to B2. All right, so now you see they are hearing computer audio. I don't want them to hear VoiceMeeter aux because that's Skype. I don't want it to echo back. So I'm going to select B2 for my mic and I'm going to select B2 for computer, and Skype is hearing my mic and Skype is hearing computer. So now just to recap, B1 has everything. B1 has my microphone, B1 has computer audio, and B1 has Skype. That is what you're going to choose for Audacity or any recording application that you're using. And that's also what you're going to choose for your broadcast software. So I'm going to open Butt right now. And I'm just going to show you the settings again. And I've chosen USB audio codec, which is my microphone, but I'm going to switch that to VoiceMeeter output. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to close it. That's all you have to do. So now Butt is getting my microphone, my computer audio, and Skype. And we'll test that out individually just looking at the graphic equalizer. I will go ahead and leave everything playing, but I'll go into these settings, and remember, VoiceMeeter output is B1. Remember that. So I'm going to just uncheck B1 from everything. So now you'll see Butt is not hearing, air quotes, anything. But I'm going to go back in one at a time and put back in the things that I want it to hear, which is my microphone. So now you'll see when I talk, it's hearing me. And now I want the computer audio to go in, so I'm going to select B1 for that. And you can see it moving even though I'm not talking. So you know it's getting this YouTube video. And then I also want it to hear Skype, which I'm still playing test audio on. I think. Yes, I'm still playing test audio on. So I'm going to, on Skype, click B1. And just to show you, I'm going to unselect computer and I'm going to stop talking for a second. And you'll see that it's still picking up Skype. So there you go. There you have it. So remember, you want B1 is going to be VoiceMeeter output. B2 is going to be VoiceMeeter aux. You want everything to go to B1, which is VoiceMeeter output. You want to select that for anything that you want to hear everyone. So you want the broadcast software to hear everyone. You want your recording software to hear everyone. So you're going to select VoiceMeeter output. For Skype specifically, or if you're using Google Hangouts or any other webinar sort of software, you want to remember to only route Skype, which is going to be VoiceMeeter aux, to B1 and not to B2, which is VoiceMeeter aux output. You're going to go in and choose VoiceMeeter aux output for your microphone on Skype, and you're going to choose VoiceMeeter aux input for the speakers. And that's all you have to do. Now, I know that sounds complicated, and that took, a little bit of we're almost 30 minutes now. That took a 30-minute video to completely explain everything. There are a lot of other options that I don't have time and aren't really useful for broadcasting specifically, but I suggest that you get in, play with VoiceMeeter Banana, and just see what all it can do and really learn, play with each input and output and learn where the audio is going and get familiar with it, because it did take me quite a few tries to get it in my head. Okay, this input is going to this output and this output is, to kind of sort all that out in my brain. It did take a little bit of time. I will mention the hardware output. So I didn't mention this before. You'll want to hear in your headphones what's going on the computer. So you'll need to set a hardware output. And once you do that, you'll also want to make sure everything you want to hear is being routed to that output. Now, one thing I'll mention is you probably don't want to output your microphone to this hardware output. And the reason is there's a little bit of latency between when you talk and when this will actually play. And it gets kind of confusing to try to listen to an echo of yourself. So you may not want to do that. So normally what I do is, and you may hear this through the microphone right now because I'm going to send everything to my speakers. I'm going to go ahead and set this output as my laptop speakers. And I'm only going to send the computer audio and Skype. And I've actually turned off the Skype test audio, but so now you'll hear that. If I send myself to this output, I'll echo. And so I don't like to listen to myself that way. And you can decide if you want to do that or not. But if I send myself, then I'll hear an echo. And you can kind of hear it coming out of the speakers a little bit. But if you send it to headphones, it gets very confusing hearing an echo back every time you talk. So normally I do not send my own microphone back to myself. I normally just send the computer audio and the Skype audio. All right, I'm going to end it there. If you do have any questions, we have people in Pride 48 that can help you out. So you can go over to the contact page at pride48.com and you can email us and we will get back to you. And we can even get someone to walk you through this over Skype or Hangouts or whatever if you need a little bit of help other than the video. Thanks for watching.